Hi guys, it's Lou Matson here. It's a cold and misty day out here in Sheffield. Wishing you all very many blessings. We are going through fairly challenging and turbulent times, but it's all about keeping your vibration high, and rather than getting sucked in with our physical eyes, actually, taking that inner step back and looking with a wider perspective, a wider lens, and seeing the whole landscape from our multidimensional perspective, which means, what we see physically in the 3D world is one aspect, and there are many, many, many layers and different perspectives to the same information. So if what you're seeing, what you're hearing in the 3D realm is bringing you down, allow yourself to just take a moment, step back, take that wider perspective, your multidimensional perspective on things, take a breath, count to 10, whatever it takes, and just allow yourself to acknowledge that there are many layers of perspective to the same event. We can literally, I remember when I was studying to be an occupational therapist, we had a picture, and we were to basically say what we saw in the picture. And what we saw in the picture was a menacing young man with an older woman. She was looking fearful. When you zoomed the lens out on that picture, he was actually helping her, picking up her shopping that had dropped all over the floor. So that's what I mean. We are looking sometimes with a very, very small lens, very blinkered vision. So just allow yourself to relax, allow yourself to breathe into that wider perspective. So that's something that did want to get shared just now. It wasn't what I thought I was going to be talking about. So just getting into what the title of this morning musings is, and what I had planned to talk about. I had a massive realization the other day. I had a beautiful healing share with a friend of mine, and it became really apparent that because I had a distorted view on what being a service soul was, what being of service to others means and meant in my life, it meant that I wasn't actually allowing myself to fully have the benefit of the gifts and talents that I freely and readily give to others, which was really interesting. Now, I've always, well, not always, obviously, for a very, very long time, a number of decades, I've known that I've had this distorted view on being a service soul. When I came in as a child, I knew that I was here to be of service, and I took it to mean, from a very third dimensional perspective, that it didn't matter about me. I didn't matter. How I felt, how I was irrelevant as long as everybody else was okay. It meant that you became the class clown, lifting the vibration of everybody around you, but it was tears of a clown because inside you may have felt very, very different. Or, giving amazing healings to other people, but when it came to healing yourself, it just seemed a little bit lacking, or you just weren't able to make those shifts that you had seen and witnessed in other people. There's miracles happening in others, and you were like, well, why isn't this happening with me? So we have many, many gifts and talents, some of which we came in with automatically, some of which we came here to transmute into. So we may have been experiencing the shadow aspect of certain things, but actually, when we transmute that shadow, we do the work within, it actually unlocks magically the gifts and talents that are in our blueprint, our original divine blueprint, and also the individual blueprint of this life. And if you are interested in finding out what your soul's blueprint was for this life, what your spiritual map is for this life, then you can have a soul contract reading done, which I do and many other people do that have been on my shows. So when you are able to recognize and acknowledge what your gifts and talents are, and you may have been able to do that throughout your life just with the experiences that you've had, just that realization that actually I had not allowed the full benefit of my gifts and talents, and I had not allowed myself to fully express my gifts and talents to their fullest capacity, because I hadn't allowed myself to benefit from them, because to some extent that programming, that automatic program, that distorted program, belief mindset program of service to others, being a service soul means everybody else is okay, everybody else gets the benefit, but I don't matter, was still to some extent playing out. And believe me, I've done work on this program, so I've taken many layers of it off. So it was an interesting realization to have that was still to some extent there in my energetic field. So that was something that wanted to be shared. You know, if you are a healer, if you are a light worker, if you are a channel, if you have gifts and talents, you know, whatever they may be, your ability to communicate, to share wisdom and information, your ability to assimilate lots of information and to kind of really put it into plain speaking. It's ironic that I messed my words up on that one. You know, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what the gifts and talents are. Are you actually allowing yourself to benefit from them? So it may be that you kind of like espouse great wisdom and share great wisdom, and that wisdom has a really massive impact on other people. However, you don't listen to your own inner guidance. You're able to do miraculous healings, you know, incredible shifts. You see incredible shifts and transformations in others. But when you do a self-healing, it doesn't quite have the same effect or impact. And you're kind of left thinking, you know, well, where's my miraculous shift? Where's my transformation? So that was one of the things, you know, like we are the ones that are blocking ourselves. We are the ones, and it may be that we have these distorted programs still running, distorted beliefs or mindsets, like I had, that, you know, being a service soul or being of service to others meant I didn't matter, that, you know, that those gifts and talents were not meant for me, and that I was not to benefit from them to the fullest capacity. So, you know, it's interesting to go down those rabbit holes and to find out where you are blocking yourself, because to be honest, you will be surprised. You will be surprised at where you're blocking yourself, how you're blocking yourself, and just, you know, allowing that awareness to flow into that new layer, that new level or aspect of that realization enables you then to release that layer. And, you know, another layer may come, but it's like it's getting you there, because the more we allow ourselves to fully stand in our power and to fully embrace and embody our gifts, the more that we allow our light to come in, and the more actual benefit we are to others, because we're bringing higher and higher light, higher and higher vibrations of ourselves into this physical form. But, you know, ultimately, my universe, my world wouldn't exist without me in it. So we are important. So it is about us looking at ourselves. It is about us doing the work on ourselves. It is about us allowing ourselves to fully stand in our power, and that means being able to fully benefit. Because what we do in one area, we do in all areas. So if we're blocking ourselves from receiving, we're actually blocking everybody from receiving us to our fullest. Do you see what I mean? It's like, even if you are still focused on service to others, if you aren't, there is no difference. We are all one. You know, Spirit told me a month or so, a couple of months ago, you know, alone is all one. It's an illusion. When you feel alone, it's an illusion, because we are all one. We're all connected. So, you know, when we're healing another person, we are healing an aspect of ourselves, but it's important to turn that mirror back on ourselves and to actually allow ourselves to fully benefit from, you know, the individual gifts and talents that we've come in with, that we chose at soul level, that would benefit the world in this moment in history. So that was one thing that really wanted to be shared. The other realization was, and again, it's a realization that I've had for a long time in my life, is that I was completely in my head. You know, it was like being on this earth, being incarnated, knowing who we all are, feeling the density of the earth when I landed in the 60s, was really hard. It was so hard, and I chose to shut myself down. It was a coping mechanism. Lots of people did similar things. It is what it is, and it was a perfect part of each of our journey. So I chose to shut myself down, but that also meant numbing myself, and it was actually something that I was quite proud of. You know, I was quite proud of the fact that I was numb, that, you know, nothing could get through my walls of defense, and that, you know, it was like, I'm protected, yay. But in fact, you know, we're just closing ourselves down, we're closing our hearts, and we're blocking that true connection to all aspects of ourselves. So the other realization was that, you know, we talk about divine neutrality, we talk about balance and neutrality. Neutrality and balance isn't just being on a level, like completely flat, because to me that was kind of like flatlining, being numb, not feeling anything. Being in balance, being in divine neutrality, is allowing yourself to feel the sine wave, allowing yourself to feel the feelings, you know, up and then down and back to the middle again. It's acknowledging your feelings, your emotions, allowing yourself to, again, fully acknowledge that aspect of yourself. You know, when we try and numb ourselves out and say, okay, I'm going to stay on this level, so I'm not actually going to feel anything, we're blocking a massive aspect of ourselves. Everything is energy, and, you know, emotional energy is energy in motion. So it's really important for us not to try and be this completely unfeeling, numb, neutral entity, because in fact, you know, that's basically what the 3D world has done to us in terms of the programming and everything like that. You know, big boys and big girls don't cry. You know, everything is about not really feeling, and it's all about thinking. It's all about being in the mental. So again, balance is allowing both, allowing the mental and the emotional, allowing the highs and the lows, acknowledging them, owning them, feeling them, being them. But again, drawing back, pulling back into that wider perspective, and that is where we come into the divine neutrality. That is where we come into the balance. And it's not from not allowing the emotion to flow in the first place, or controlling its flow. It's allowing yourself to fully acknowledge, be, feel, think, everything, who you are, but stepping back, pulling back, zooming out, and seeing the wider perspective of it. And that's, you know, we're not just experiencing this existence from a 3D perspective, we're experiencing it from all of our perspectives, all the way back to source level. And that is what brings the balance, that is what brings the neutrality, because from those perspectives, those wider perspectives, it's not personal. None of it is personal. So, you know, it's allowing yourself to experience and ride those waves. And a lot of people over the last couple of days, with what's been going on in America and things, wow, they've probably been riding a wave big time, and some people may have been kind of drowning it out and trying to numb it out. No, allow it, acknowledge it, feel it, own it, let it flow through you. It's your truth on that level. But then from that experience of really fully allowing that, that's when you get into that balance. That's when you get into that neutral way of seeing, being in the world. Redefining, absolutely, Estella, redefining. So that's what wanted to be shared today. I hope that serves you well. Yeah, have a beautiful rest of your day. Being exactly where you are in this now moment and allowing it. You may not love it at the time, but it's important to allow it to flow and be honoured and acknowledged. Because if we don't, that's when we suppress and repress, and then we're just creating blocks within our field that either we or somebody else has to go and clean out at some point. So yeah, keep yourself a clear and perfect channel, clear and open channel in each moment for whatever it is that wants to flow through you in that moment. Okay, so much love. Take care everybody, and I shall see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.